The walls of Ba Sing Se look unbreakable from the outside, but what if the real danger is not the war outside? It's what people are being forced to believe inside. A city that claims there is no war, while the world outside is burning. A boy who holds the power to end a global conflict, but still doesn't know how to control it. And a rising fire nation that is getting closer every day. This is where Season 2 begins, where the journey is no longer just about survival, but about truth, control, and power shaping the world from the shadows. After the battle in the Northern Water Tribe, Aang's path becomes heavier than ever. He may have helped protect one nation, but the Fire Nation is still strong, and the war is far from over. Aang now carries the responsibility of being the Avatar, yet he still feels like a young boy who is learning too slowly. Katara stays by his side, supporting him emotionally while also growing stronger in her waterbending skills. Sokka, always thinking ahead, knows that their journey cannot stop here. They need help, guidance, and most importantly, Aang must master earthbending if he wants to stand a chance against Fire Lord Ozai. But earthbending is not easy for Aang. It is the complete opposite of his natural style. Air is about freedom and movement, while earth is about standing firm and resisting pressure. Aang struggles with this difference, and it becomes clear that he cannot learn it alone. This pushes the group into a new mission: find an earthbending master who can teach the Avatar. At the same time, the world around them is changing quickly. The Fire Nation continues its expansion, and every day more cities fall under its control. Hope is starting to feel rare, and pressure is building on all sides. During this journey, the group travels across the Earth Kingdom, a massive land filled with different cultures, cities, and dangers. Not everyone they meet is friendly, and not every path is clear. Aang tries to stay positive, but the weight of responsibility begins to affect him deeply. He is not just traveling anymore, he is being pulled into a war that he never asked for, yet cannot escape. Katara grows more serious, understanding that their fight is becoming bigger than just friendship or travel. Even Sokka, who often brings humor to the group, starts taking his role more seriously as a strategist and protector. Along the way, small victories and painful losses shape their journey. They realize that the Fire Nation is not just powerful because of its army, but because of its planning and control. Entire regions of the Earth Kingdom are disconnected, confused, and afraid. Rumors spread faster than truth, and hope becomes harder to hold on to. In the middle of this chaos, the need for an earthbending teacher becomes urgent. Aang cannot wait any longer. The Avatar must grow stronger, or the balance of the world may collapse before he is ready to restore it. Their journey eventually leads them to one of the most important turning points in the entire season: the search for an earthbending master. At first, Aang and the group believe it will be a straightforward mission. Find a strong earthbender, convince them, and continue training. But reality quickly proves different. Earthbending masters are not easy to find, and even when they are found, they are not always willing to help the Avatar. Some fear the Fire Nation too much. Others are already fighting their own battles, and some simply do not believe a young airbender is ready to learn their art. This is where everything changes with the introduction of Toph Beifong. At first, she does not appear like a powerful master. In fact, she is small, quiet, and treated like someone who needs protection. She is blind, and most people underestimate her because of it. But what no one realizes is that Toph can see through the earth itself. She feels vibrations in the ground, allowing her to sense everything around her with incredible accuracy. When she bends earth, it is not just strength, it is pure control and instinct. Aang finally finds the teacher he needs, but Toph is not easy to convince. She is independent, stubborn, and tired of being controlled by others, especially her overprotective parents. She wants freedom, not rules. So instead of immediately joining Aang, she runs away from home and starts living on her own terms. This creates a complicated situation for Team Avatar. They need her skills, but they cannot force her to join. Aang, who believes in peace and balance, respects her choice, even if it delays his training. When Toph finally joins the group, everything begins to shift. She becomes Aang's earthbending teacher. But her teaching style is completely different from anything he has experienced before. She does not guide gently or explain step by step. Instead, she pushes Aang directly into challenges, forcing him to feel the earth instead of thinking about it. At first, Aang struggles a lot. He keeps trying to use airbending thinking in earthbending, which fails repeatedly. Toph constantly reminds him that earthbending is about standing strong, not avoiding impact. At the same time, the group dynamic begins to change. Toph is strong-willed and often clashes with Sokka, who tries to act like the leader. Katara sometimes struggles to accept Toph's blunt personality, especially when Toph ignores emotional sensitivity in favor of direct honesty. But over time, they begin to understand each other. Toph proves herself not just as a powerful fighter, but as someone who values truth over comfort. Outside the group, the world continues to grow darker. The Fire Nation's influence spreads deeper into the Earth Kingdom. Towns become unstable, and fear spreads among civilians. Even strong resistance groups like Jet's fighters operate in morally unclear ways, showing that not everyone fighting the Fire Nation is purely good. Trust becomes harder to maintain, and Aang starts to realize that the world he is trying to save is far more complicated than he first believed. With Toph's arrival, Aang finally begins to make progress in earthbending. But just as he starts to grow stronger, a much larger challenge is forming in the background, one that involves the heart of the Earth Kingdom itself, Ba Sing Se, the last great stronghold where secrets run deeper than its massive walls. Ba Sing Se stands as the final symbol of safety in the Earth Kingdom, a massive city surrounded by huge walls that are said to protect its people from the war outside. When Team Avatar finally arrives, it feels almost unreal. Inside the walls, there are no signs of battle, no fear, and no Fire Nation soldiers. Life appears calm, organized, and peaceful. But very quickly, something feels off. The peace is too controlled, almost like the city is forcing itself to stay perfect. Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Toph are told that speaking about the war is not allowed. At first, this seems strange but harmless. However, they soon realize that the city operates under strict rules that keep the truth hidden from its citizens. People are separated into different social layers, and movement between them is tightly controlled. The lower ring is crowded and struggling, while the upper ring is reserved for wealth and authority. The deeper they explore Ba Sing Se, the more they understand that this city is not as peaceful as it appears. The government claims that there is no war in Ba Sing Se, even though the war is clearly happening outside. Anyone who tries to speak about it is quietly stopped. This is where the group meets the Dai Li, a secretive organization that claims to protect the city's cultural balance. But their methods are far more controlling than protective. They monitor citizens, control information, and remove anyone who threatens the city's image of peace. Slowly, it becomes clear that Ba Sing Se is not free. It is carefully controlled. At the same time, Azula enters the city in disguise with Mai and Ty Lee. Unlike Team Avatar, Azula understands exactly how Ba Sing Se works. She does not attack from outside. Instead, she studies the system from within. She learns how the Dai Li operate, how power is distributed, and who truly controls the city. While Aang searches for a way to find Appa, who has been lost, Azula begins her own quiet takeover. She uses patience, manipulation, and precision instead of open force. Aang's emotional struggle grows deeper as he searches for Appa inside the massive city. Appa is not just his animal guide, he is his connection to safety and stability. Without him, Aang feels lost and vulnerable. This search leads him through the lower parts of Ba Sing Se, where he finally begins to see the real suffering hidden beneath the city's surface. The contrast between the upper and lower rings becomes impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, Zuko and Iroh also arrive in Ba Sing Se, but their journey is very different. Zuko is no longer sure of who he is or what he should become. Iroh tries to guide him toward peace and balance, encouraging him to let go of anger. Zuko, however, still struggles with his identity and his need to regain honor. In Ba Sing Se, he is given a chance to live a quiet life, away from war and expectations. For the first time, he begins to experience something close to peace. But peace in Ba Sing Se is fragile. Azula slowly builds her influence, turning trusted figures into her allies without direct confrontation. The Dai Li, once protectors of order, begin to shift under her pressure. Trust inside the city starts to weaken from within, even while the outside world sees Ba Sing Se as unbreakable. The true danger is no longer the Fire Nation army at the gates, but the manipulation already happening inside the walls. As tensions rise, all paths begin to move toward one final turning point. The moment Ba Sing Se will no longer remain neutral. And when that moment arrives, nothing in the world of Avatar will stay the same again. Inside Ba Sing Se, everything begins to collapse quietly before anyone even realizes it. The city still looks peaceful on the surface, but behind the walls, control is slipping into the wrong hands. Azula continues her careful plan, never rushing, always watching. She understands something important about power here. Ba Sing Se does not fall through war. It falls through trust being broken from within. Her first major step is gaining influence over the Dai Li, the very group that is supposed to protect the city. Instead of fighting them, she studies them, understands their weaknesses, and slowly turns them. The Dai Li are not loyal to people, they are loyal to control, and Azula offers them exactly that, but under her direction. One by one, their loyalty shifts without loud conflict, showing how easily systems can be changed when fear and order mix together. At the same time, Aang is still searching desperately for Appa. His search becomes more than just about finding his animal guide. It becomes emotional survival. Every clue he follows takes him deeper into the lower parts of the city, where life is harder and truth is harder to hide. There, he begins to see how people are being ignored while the upper layers of Ba Sing Se live in comfort. This experience starts changing Aang's understanding of the world. He realizes that even without war outside, suffering can still exist inside peace. Katara stays with Aang and tries to support him, but she also becomes more aware of how fragile their situation is. Sokka, meanwhile, tries to gather information and think strategically, but even he struggles in a city where no one is allowed to speak freely. The rules of Ba Sing Se are not enforced with violence, but with silence, and that makes them even harder to fight against. Zuko's story reaches its most confusing point here. Inside Ba Sing Se, he experiences a life he has never known before. Simple, calm, and free from constant conflict. He works at a tea shop with Iroh, and for the first time he is not chasing his father's approval or fighting battles. He even begins to feel happiness in small moments, like serving tea or talking to people without pressure. But deep inside, his identity conflict remains. He does not fully know who he is without the Fire Nation War defining him. Azula, however, does not forget him. She knows Zuko is in the city, and she uses that knowledge carefully. Instead of forcing him back immediately, she waits for the right emotional moment, knowing Zuko's inner struggle makes him vulnerable. At the same time, she fully completes her control over key parts of Ba Sing Se's leadership. The Dai Li are now firmly under her influence, and the city's highest authority is becoming weaker by the hour. Eventually, everything moves toward the breaking point. The truth about Ba Sing Se's control system cannot stay hidden forever. The illusion of safety begins to crack as multiple stories and hidden actions come together. The city that once represented unbreakable peace is now standing on the edge of total takeover. And when Azula finally makes her move, Ba Sing Se does not fall with fire or destruction. It falls with silence, betrayal, and the complete takeover of its own protectors. Azula's final move in Ba Sing Se happens with precision, not chaos. There is no large battle at first, no warning sirens, and no open fight in the streets. Instead, the takeover begins with trust being turned into obedience. The Dai Li, now fully under her influence, act on her command and not the Earth King's authority. This shift is subtle at first, but it changes everything. The real power of Ba Sing Se is no longer with its official leaders, it is with Azula. The Earth King, who once symbolized the city's stability, is slowly pushed out of control without even realizing how much power he has lost. The people of Ba Sing Se are still unaware of what is happening above them. Life continues as normal in the lower and upper rings, but the foundation of the city is already gone. It is a collapse that happens from the inside, where no wall can protect against it. Aang, still searching for Appa, finally reaches a point where he feels completely lost. Appa's disappearance has taken a heavy emotional toll on him. Without him, Aang feels disconnected from his past, from his identity, and from his role as the Avatar. When he finally gets closer to the truth about Appa's location, it becomes clear that he has been taken and sold through different hands, showing how even powerful beings can be reduced to objects in a broken system. Katara becomes Aang's emotional anchor during this time. She helps him stay focused, even when his anger and sadness start to take over. But even she can see that something much bigger is happening inside the city. Rumors, missing people, and strange behavior from officials all point toward a hidden shift in power. Sokka also begins to realize that Ba Sing Se is not just hiding the war. It is hiding its own collapse. Meanwhile, Zuko reaches his most important internal turning point. His time in Ba Sing Se with Iroh has given him a glimpse of peace, but it has also created conflict inside him. Iroh encourages him to let go of anger and choose a new path, one not defined by his father's expectations. Zuko starts to consider a life where he is not chasing honor through war, but something more personal and peaceful. For a moment, it feels like he might finally change. But Azula uses this moment perfectly. She understands Zuko better than almost anyone, his need for approval, his confusion, and his deep emotional conflict. Instead of forcing him, she manipulates him into making a choice he believes is his own. In a carefully planned encounter, she offers him what he has wanted for so long: a return to the Fire Nation, approval from his father, and the promise of restored honor. It is not forced. It is tempting, and that is what makes it powerful. Zuko makes the decision to leave Ba Sing Se and return with Azula. This choice marks a major shift in his character. It is not a simple victory or defeat, it is a step backward emotionally, even if it feels like progress on the surface. Iroh, deeply disappointed but still loving, does not stop him. He understands that Zuko must face the consequences of his choices to truly grow. As Zuko and Iroh separate, Ba Sing Se completes its fall. The Dai Li fully secure Azula's control, the Earth King is removed from real authority, and the city is effectively taken without a traditional invasion. The Fire Nation has achieved something far more strategic than force. It has taken the heart of the Earth Kingdom from within. When Team Avatar finally realizes the full scale of what has happened, it is already too late. Ba Sing Se, once seen as the last stronghold of hope, is gone. The group is separated, emotionally shaken, and forced to face a harsh truth. The war is no longer just about battles between nations. It is about control, influence, and decisions that change everything from the inside out.